So why do women still vote Democrat? Even because in New York, that one girl got burned alive on the train.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, why would the men help her?
It's the same.
When it's like it's the same reason I actually want more women or more men in women's sports. Because I was an athlete. I played overseas. But there was a tournament where we had trans people in our tournament. I never thought it would happen to me. And then when I was overseas, it actually happened at a tournament. Now these trans people are in our locker rooms and I'm going around, hey, let's complain to the tournament director. Hey, I'm going to video this and we can talk about it online, whatever. And all the women are yelling at me. So I'm like, screw you guys. Go get hit in the face. I don't care. And I think that's how men feel about protecting women. It's like, why should they protect women when we keep voting for our own destruction? For every one woman that speaks out about the trans stuff, there's 10 women that vote for it or push it or accept it. You know?
This was true there too. This was true in that group that I was in.
Yeah.
Here it was, a women's only meeting. Suddenly the trans agenda starts taking place. And what do you know? We got a trans woman in the crowd. And now I'm there talking about all the shame I felt when I got my period at 13. And she goes, yeah, I can relate. I felt the same way when I got my period at 35, which was really just my butthole bleeding because they had to, you know what I mean? I'm joking now, but it's like nobody stood up and was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
This is for women who are maybe dealing with psychological scars from people who look like this one here claiming to be one of us. And we should be having a protective safe haven so you can understand that all of this shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
All of this talk about we're here to protect women is bullshit. It's a bunch of brainwash, and women are not known for their courage or their spine or their ability to stand up. So you shouldn't expect anything else from them. And this is why they should not be in positions to determine the political agenda of a country because they're not the ones who are going to fight it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I think that the only solution to feminism, though, is more feminism. Women have to get the consequences of your actions.
Well, it's starting to happen.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it is starting to happen. I mean, I'm going to keep fighting because I believe I want I want Western and white civilization to survive and persevere. And I have been woken up from the same stupor that I was in. And really, to answer this question about why would people do this, it has to do with you really need to understand the depths of psychological manipulation and brainwashing that we have all been subject to for at least the last 80 years, probably more than that. I mean, your audience probably doesn't care about the 1913 Federal Reserve Act, but you can pretty much trace every globo homo feminine bull crap propaganda to the start of that, because what it did was create a huge siphon of wealth that could fund all of these agendas that are really just meant to undermine white Christian Western civilization, is the truth, right? So why would women be in this group talking about the abuse and the getting harassed?
They can't give up power. They want to be 100% in control of who's born. That is a lot of power. I don't think it's brainwashing. I think it makes perfect sense.
Can you explain?
Well, people tend to do what's in their best interests. And
how is that? Well, okay, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of power, right? Yeah. I'm not saying it's the right thing or that it's good, but being 100% in control of who is born is a lot of power for one group.
But didn't we always have that? Because we could say, no, I don't want to have your children.
I would say it was different with the advent of the birth control pill. Because marriages were arranged before. So, I mean, yeah, like they could say yes or no, but to some extent you had a lot of pressure riding on the women to like accept the arranged marriage, because both of the families are involved. It's a big thing.
Right.
And so now, women, once there's a conception, women get to pick if the kid is brought into the world or not. And that's a lot of power, so it makes sense. I'm not saying it's good, so I try to avoid bad. I just try to, predict. But now this last election, women said, do you know what? Almost dying, I think, might be worth giving up abortion.
Well,
getting punched in the face in Chicago, burned alive on a train.
But listen, I'm going to tell you it from the perspective of somebody who was in that worldview. I wasn't thinking of it like, and maybe I'm different, but I know a lot of women from that point of view. They perceived it, like basically what they perceived was somebody's going to me and I'm going to be forced to carry their child, and that's a violation of my boundaries. And that is really, if you look at the campaigning around abortion, that's constantly the thing that's thrown in there, right? And now it's come to a place of like, well, I just want to, they're actually openly celebrating. But because they advanced the agenda, right? The way they got it in the door was this baby thing, right? Once they succeed in that, now they just go to, well, you should just have full autonomy all the time which I think is insane.
As most of you know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years, but I need to tell you about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues that we discuss on this show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every single week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average male's testosterone is half of what the average was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at Chalk, CHOQ.com, are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's Male Vitality Stack contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to naturally boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the Male Vitality Stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on Chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on Chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code. It's insane.
And, you may not win to go to no abortion, but I think you absolutely can impose, like, at the very least,
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Which already, like,
I think we should just cut a deal 3 months. Let's never argue again.
Pretty much.
And I think it's wrong. Like, I had a brother I found out about when I was older who was like given up for adoption.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I don't like my parents. They just got pregnant really young, and I think they didn't know if they were going to stay together or whatever. So for me personally, I think it's wrong, especially when I got to meet my brother when I was older. But I've just argued with the women. And I don't know. I don't think they're brainwashed. I think they just like having the power. What I've observed with interviewing people, I think a lot of time retrospectively, maybe people want to think about it that way. But when I interview people making those choices, I think it's just women want to have fun. So they want to go to the cities, they want to party, they want to go to college.
But that to me that to me is ignorance and sadness, because I've known women who've had abortions, right? And this is another one, right? I knew a woman who was pregnant in this women's meeting, and I didn't know she was pregnant until after she'd already had the abortion, because she was like still having kind of a pregnancy body, and she was talking about, anyway. Apparently, she was coming to this meeting every day. She'd gotten pregnant with some guy that she was having an affair with. And she was going back and forth. I don't know if I should keep it, blah, blah, blah. And all of the lunatics were like supposed to be God-oriented, right? About you've got to check in with what's right with yourself and blah, blah, blah. For 5.5 months until she had an abortion
at 6 months.
At 5.5 months.
It's legal in the UK up to 6.
Now, why no one dared to tell her the truth, which was to say, at this point, you are murdering your own child. They will feel pain, and you are is beyond me. And a lot of why they're not allowed to say it is the same reason we're not allowed to say uncomfortable truths about race statistics, is because the force of the global homo regime will come down on you as you are the bad guy, you are the evil, you are the threat, and you must be done away with.
And just women in general. Like with the way women react to things that are true, a lot of men just are thinking, why would I tell her the truth?
Why would I bother telling her the truth?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's exactly correct. But to me, so here's the story, right? And I remember hearing about this, and I wasn't yet quite coming out. I was starting to come out of where I was, and I just felt even before I knew anything, I just felt a tremendous amount of grief in my heart, and I was like that poor kid. And now she's like trans, lesbian, whatever, shaved half her head. And every year she would, on the anniversary of the abortion, celebrate this son that she aborted, which is now in heaven. And I'm like, but to think, see, now, if
Nurturing gender, right?
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
If somebody was honest, they would take that story and they would hold it as an example to every single woman who's talking about this, because the consequences of that decision have reverberated on her life. First of all, that affair that she was having, that ended. Here's the other part. The guy was encouraging her to have the abortion, which is also real. He did not want that because he didn't want the consequences of that to reverberate in his life. And I don't know I'm sure he paid the toll somehow, but she certainly paid the toll, because now she's basically mentally ill because she can't reconcile herself over the fact that she has murdered her child, and she experiences grief, which she redistributes as a celebration to his life on the anniversary of his abortion date. So why don't people tell these stories?
I don't know. The way I would view that is she was just crazy. Like,
She wasn't crazy beforehand.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And what about all the women who were telling her to go to? It was her choice.
I do think that some women have a hard time with it, but just in my personal experience, I've observed some women that are fine. They don't care. There's this idea that all the women are heartbroken. They're not, and it's actually disgusting how much they are not heartbroken. A lot of them.
Wow.
Because women do not want to reproduce with average men. That's what abortion is. We will go to college to not reproduce with average men. We will go put ourselves in debt, get, fake tits, fake hair, fake everything to not reproduce it with average men. We'll move to the big cities to not reproduce with average men. And if an average man gets us pregnant, I want the choice to abort it. That's what women are saying collectively.
But this guy clearly wasn't average, because he was like a pretty famous musician or whatever, and she was crazy in love with him for 3 or 4 years or whatever, and she wanted him, right? She.
Well, sometimes women make a choice. It's an above average man, but they don't think he'll stick around. So,
she did it to keep
all the
him.
women I personally,
she did it to keep him.
All the women, all the women I personally know that have got abortions, though, it's actually sad. They're all with boyfriends. That were actually involved. They would have stayed.
Wow. Why? See, but this is one of those things too,
most
right?
Most of them are from wealthy. I mean, because most of the girls I knew that did it were in school, so it was like upper middle class white people, I would say. They all had the money.
Oh.
It's just they didn't want to reproduce with the average boyfriend.
But then why are you dating him?
Women have placeholder boyfriends often. I mean, women have the term starter husbands, right?
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't understand that. That's something too,
and we want different things from men at different points in our lives.
Okay.
So women usually prioritize alpha in their 20s and beta bucks in their 30s. So they go more for provisioning and security rather than genetics.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, or women will date comedians in their 20s and then go to the accountant in their 30s. I'm sure you've seen that.
I'm marrying a comedian right now.